Hey guys, it's me Pokemon. I'm back, and today I want to bring you guys another video about Marvel Strike Force. Today I want to talk to you guys about when to buy character orbs. So character orbs, what am I talking about? If I go to supplies right here, there are specific orbs that drop only shards for one character. So like right now, they have the Sharp Sting orb and the Crowd Pleaser orb, and I think they're going to have a long shot orb coming out soon, and I want to talk about when I think you should be buying these. So in Marvel Strike Force, there are roughly 5 types of character releases, give or take. You have event campaigns, like Shatterstar is going to be for this patch, like Stature was for that last patch. The second and third type of character are both Blitz releases, but there's the 45 shard unlocks and the 100 shard unlocks. So every Blitz release character will get at least 2 Blitzes around when the patch comes out. You can see that with Yellow Jacket, Ghost, there's a long shot Blitz coming out. So but no matter if it's a 100 shard unlock or a 45 shard unlock character, there's going to be 2 Blitzes. The difference is you can unlock the 45 shard character through 2 Blitzes. You can't unlock the 100 shard character unless you get higher up in the ranks of Blitz, which we'll have to see how this changes with Sim Blitz. Now people can get much higher scores. You know, maybe the average players won't care to run through Blitz as many times now, but we'll have to see how the scores are affected. It might be easier to place higher with the auto Blitz, but I'm gonna assume the average player cannot unlock a 100 shard character through 2 Blitzes. Next up, we have milestone characters for the 4th type. Now this does slightly vary. There's sometimes where you'll run through the milestones, you'll open up orbs which will then drop the character shards. Sometimes you just get the character shards through the milestones. Regardless, milestone characters are free to play achievable when they come out. Post release, they're a little harder because then you have to get them from milestone orbs, but we're only talking about the release of the character today. And then finally, we have legendary characters. Those you can't get the first time free to play, you'll get them the second time, but they're sort of in a category of their own. We're not really focusing on legendary characters, and that covers the bulk of characters coming out to this game. So really, from who I've covered, the only character that you can't get through as a free-to-play generally are the 100 shard unlock double Blitz characters. So that's the only time I think you should be buying those character orbs, is when it's a 100 shard unlock character and you've gone through the 2 Blitzes and you haven't unlocked them. But it's a little more complicated than that. It's not that simple, because I still don't think every time you need to buy the character. As you can see, I think it's important to save up on cores. I've been saving up on cores pretty consistently now for the past few weeks, trying to build up my stockpile because there's a lot of 100 shard characters here. So when should you buy these character orbs to unlock a character? Well, I think it's simply whenever the final character unlocks a team. So for example, Cull Obsidian, he was a 100 shard unlock with 2 Blitzes. I bought his orbs, that way I could unlock him and complete the Black Order team. Technically, I don't have Ebony Maw, but even without Ebony Maw, I really like the Thanos Cull Obsidian combo, so I wanted that. And you know, without Ebony Maw, you still have a very competent team. So I wanted to unlock Ebony Maw for the Black Order team, and I thought with him that would push the team over the threshold to run on their own with just Hand Sentry there as well. You know, I didn't think Thanos, Proxima Corvus were enough to run on their own. Ghost, that was a character that I bought her character orbs for because I knew that would complete the Pimtech team, so that way I could run that team in blitzes and stuff like that. Another character that I did buy, Baron Zemo, he was a 100 shard unlock with 2 Blitzes. I bought him because I knew he was going to complete that second Hydra team, and I really wanted to run that second Hydra team, so I did buy a couple of his orbs. Red Skull, he was originally a 2 Blitz unlock. I did buy a couple of his orbs because I wanted to unlock him so I could run that Hydra team, because again, he was the final piece for that team and I really wanted to be able to run that team. So as you can see, those are some examples of characters that I thought, you know what, buy a couple of their orbs so that way I can guarantee I get to unlock them and use them on the teams. What are some examples of characters that I did not buy the premium or their character orbs for in order to unlock them? Well, in most recent memory, She-Hulk. I did not buy She-Hulk. So She-Hulk's in an interesting scenario where she kind of didn't need to be in this game. I love She-Hulk. I love a Hulk team. They put her on a Fantastic Four team, and essentially what She-Hulk does is she's a better Namor. She essentially, like, if you have She-Hulk, take Namor off the team and run She-Hulk. The Fantastic Four team is better with She-Hulk than with Namor. But since I already have Namor, I have a competent Fantastic Four team. You know, I don't think She-Hulk's gonna like, oh my gosh, my Fantastic Four team is so much better now that I have She-Hulk. Essentially what I'd be doing by buying She-Hulk orbs is I'd be spending premium currency to boot out a character and put them on the bench. You know, I have a functional team right now. Would it be a little better with She-Hulk? perhaps, but it's not really worth that extra investment right now because I still have a perfectly fine team at the moment. So I didn't buy the She-Hulk Orbs. Plus, there wasn't a lot of hype for She-Hulk. I think they'll make She-Hulk farmable relatively quickly. They're not going to hide her like they did with Cull Obsidian. That's another thing to keep in mind. Sometimes you can tell there's a lot of hype for a character like Cull Obsidian or Baron Zemo or Red Skull, and you're like, they're definitely going to hide this character for a couple of months before they make them farmable. That's sometimes you can sense that, and it's not a bad time to make sure you get to unlock a character. Looking at this next patch, the reason why I made this video is I only think 1 out of the 300 shard unlock characters are worth buying their orbs to unlock. Longshot, I would not bother to do. I really do like the X Factor team, maybe partially because I got a 5 red star and shatter star. I'm kind of excited for the X Factor team. I like their little gimmick. It looks like the these sort of try to crit, and then if one of them crits, they're all like yes, and they all get a bunch of special effects. I think that's a fun gimmick. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think that'll be pretty fun to use, and there's some cool X Factor characters, like maybe Multiple Man will be coming, and that's pretty, like, maybe once they crit, maybe Multiple Man will clone himself. Like, so cool. I really like the X Factor team. I'm excited for the future, but I would not spend power cores to buy Longshot orbs to unlock them because you don't have a full team of Shatterstar and Longshot. The meta right now in Marvel Strike Force, Foxnex loves putting us into little has to work like this. You can't put them in other teams. They have a set team. So this is when it backfires on them. If there's no full team, there's no reason to invest in Shatterstar and Longshot. Are they technically 2 good characters? Yes. You could probably put them into the Brawlers team, but you'd be booting out somebody else, putting another character on the bench when technically the Brawlers team is functioning fine. Maybe if Foxnex decide to give Shatterstar the X-Force tag or Longshot a couple more tags, maybe it'd be worthwhile to invest in them and then put Shatterstar on the X-Force team to replace one of the characters. You know, just a thought. But since you can't do that, I wouldn't buy the orbs for Longshot, because what are you going to do when you unlock the 2 of them? They're just going to sit there until the rest of the X Factor characters come out. And by the time the rest of the X Factor characters come out, Longshot will probably be farmable, so you can just wait till then. Iceman, another character. I know, Iceman, I love Iceman, but what's the point of unlocking Iceman right now? He's going to run on this astonishing X-Men team. Right now, we only have Kitty Pryde and Beast in the game. What are you going to do with Iceman, Kitty Pryde, and Beast, huh? Like, what kind of campaign, what are you going to run in the game right now with that team? I suppose you could throw Psylocke in as a 4th member, but what are you going to do with the 5th member? You know, you're just going to throw Namor on there since you probably unlock She-Hulk too. You know, maybe, I guess, like, it's not really a team. Like, Psylocke doesn't have any synergy with them because, again, Foxnex felt the need to separate Uncanny and Astonishing, so, you know, no real mixing and matching with these teams. You know, maybe you'd want to put Psylocke instead of Storm on that original X-Men team and put Storm with Beast, since Beast and Storm synergize. That would make sense, but again, you know, Foxnex created these restrictive tags, so I wouldn't spend the money on unlocking Iceman. Now, I certainly think Iceman follows the hype scale where they might hold him off for a long time to become farmable, but on the other hand, he is so mainstream, I don't think they could just keep Iceman to themselves for too long without making him farmable. But I don't plan on spending extra power cores to unlock Iceman, simply because what's the point? There's no full team. Now, maybe one of these characters could be coming through a milestone. They could do maybe an orb opening event, and who knows, maybe like Iceman could be attainable through there. You know, it's a snow, there's avalanche orbs. I think they do like the orb avalanche or something like that. You know, maybe Iceman's going to be obtainable for a milestone event, and if that is the case, then disregard what I said. But I'm assuming right now he's going to be a 100 shard unlock. But, you know, one of these characters could be a milestone, but I have not heard anything about milestones yet. And finally, we have Red Guardian. Red Guardian is tempting, perhaps, because he does have a full team right now. You can run Soldier, Killmonger, Punisher, Red Guardian, and Yelena. The problem with that team is that it's so flimsy. That is very clearly not a permanent team. Like, that's like a really stitched together team right there. I do not think Punisher or Killmonger will be there permanently. I know they said they're going to put a new character in for the Defenders. You know, so I don't know where Punisher is going to go. Maybe he'll stick on the team, or Killmonger will go. Like, it just doesn't really work in my mind. Like, I don't see that team, like, canonically. Like, I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. The skeleton tag, it's sort of really clunky, and it feels like they're just like, oh jeez, like, what are we gonna do with Yelena and Red Guardian? Like, what kind of team can we use for that? So they pulled together this skeleton tag. I'm not a huge fan of it, but Red Guardian is slightly tempting simply for the fact that he does have a team right now, and I think they will be a pretty competent war team when everything's said and done. The only problem is, then you destroy the Wakandan team and you destroy the Defenders team. Not to say either of those teams were performing that well, but at least you have a full team in Blitz that can, you know, my Defenders can still win generally against another team that is not cookie cutter. Defenders can win against that team. Same thing for Wakandans. You could still build the skeleton team and keep the Wakandans and Defenders as is, and then you could just use some Blitz refreshes on them, because I generally don't use Blitz refreshes because I don't run Blitz enough. So maybe you could do something like that. So maybe Red Guardian, but again, due to these very, very restrictive tags, maybe I'd want to put, I don't know, Captain Marvel on this team instead of Punisher or in Killmonger, and so that way I could leave those other teams as is, and I could find some characters to put on this on this military team, is what it really should be, and then maybe I would invest in Red Guardian. So at the end of the day, the only time I would buy character orbs with premium cores is when it's a 100 shard character with 2 blitzes and you just need to get those last few shards to unlock them, and following the scenario that they have a full team and you're just completing the team. Now, if you're watching this someday in the future and FoxNext fix their very restrictive tags, maybe that'll change. But until then, if FoxNext insists on doing these cookie cutter teams, don't buy Longshot or something like that, because there's no team right now for him and he's useless. But at the end of the day, what do I really know? Because I am only a 19-year-old. I hope everyone can have a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Signing off, everyone.